is acupuncture on point, or what's the point? Meaning, is it good or is it bad? So what is acupuncture? So acupuncture, as you probably know, uses needles. Now these needles are very, very fine. So not like the needles that you would get like an IV from. I bet they're very similar to like a tattoo needle. Like they're very, very fine. And so those needles are inserted into the skin to treat various health problems. And then the needles are either manipulated manually, so the acupuncturist moves them around a bit to do the treatment, or sometimes they'll actually apply electricity to them.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's called electroacupuncture, which I didn't even know that existed. So how does it work, right? So, being the doctor, I'm like, okay, well, how exactly does this work? Well, that's not 100% understood how it works. There's evidence that it does have effect on your nervous system, so your nerves, as well as other body tissues, and also that it has non-systemic effects. So a non-systemic effect is basically placebo. You tell somebody, I'm going to do this treatment, and you do it and they feel better.
Yeah.
And so there is at least some amount of placebo with acupuncture. What I thought was interesting though, so this was used in ancient China, right? And so the traditional Chinese medicine described these meridian lines in our body. So they thought that there were these channels of energy through which qi, you've heard qi, right?
Yeah.
I say that sometimes, and I didn't really know what I was saying. I guess I kind of knew, but I'll say something like, oh man, that really messed up my qi. That messed up my my mojo or whatever. So they described qi as your life force, and the life force would flow through these meridian lines. And what they believed happened was that these meridian lines would get blocked, and so your qi or your life force couldn't flow through. And by using the acupuncture needles in these meridian lines, they felt that would stimulate the meridian lines and allow the qi or the life force to flow through.
Okay.
Now, of course, there's really no basis of this in modern medicine. I mean, we haven't discovered qi or meridian lines or any of that. So, I don't want to say that it's completely nonsense, but I'm just saying it doesn't necessarily jive with modern medicine. But all of that being said, you can't deny that there is some effectiveness to acupuncture, and so that's kind of basic.
Yeah, also it wouldn't still be around.
Right. Well, and that's exactly right. So, as you know, it's very ancient. It really has gained a lot of popularity in the last 50 years. Like in the 1970s, it kind of made a resurgence. I guess with the people being able to travel more freely and people going to the Far East and coming back and to Europe and America, it started to pick up popularity. So today in the United States, annually, there's about 10 to 15 million people that get acupuncture. That's a pretty high number. I thought it maybe wouldn't be quite that many. What's more interesting is it gains about 50% more people about every 10 years. So it's 2023 now, I guess. So, if we have 10 to 15 million now, so in another 10 years, it'll be somewhere around 20, 25 million.
Oh.
So it's gaining in popularity. And as of now, roughly 10% of the population in America has tried acupuncture. So 1 in 10. That's why I was curious, asking you guys, do you know anyone who's had it?
Yeah.
I don't that I know of, but so, the next thing is okay, what can you treat with this? So there actually was a list that was put out by Johns Hopkins. Travis, can you toss that up there? And you can blow that up on your computer if you want. It's got a laundry list of things, and some of these are kind of far out there as far as I'm concerned, but these are things that historically acupuncture has been used. I wanted to kind of narrow that down though, because that's just too much to even kind of wrap our heads around. So what I wanted to focus on was the NIH, the National Institutes of Health, have actually done research on what things acupuncture has been shown by research to be effective for. And so these are the things that popped up. So you got nausea, whether that be from surgery or chemotherapy, dental pain, addiction to drugs or alcohol, headaches and migraines, that one always pops up with acupuncture. Menstrual cramps, I was kind of surprised to see that one there. Tennis elbow, that makes sense. That's a nerve compression, issue or a inflammation of a nerve. So that could essentially, that makes sense. Fibromyalgia, which is a kind of a self-reported pain issue, that makes sense. Myofascial pain. Osteoarthritis, you hear about that one. Neck and back pain. Carpal tunnel syndrome, again, nerves. And then asthma, which I thought was interesting. And so I actually looked through all these studies, and I thought about pulling them up, but really I'd just be pulling up blocks of text. So I'm just going to kind of summarize them for you guys. The NIH did what are considered review studies. So they look at every study related to acupuncture and say headache. And so for each of those ones that was on that list, there was between 10 and 20 individual research papers that showed that acupuncture either had an effectiveness in treating that either alone or in conjunction with other modalities. Meaning, if somebody had headaches, they were trying one thing, that was one group, and then they would try that same thing plus acupuncture, and the group that tried both did better. So that would be in conjunction, more effective.
Okay.
And so I thought that was pretty powerful. With each one of those, you were looking at 10 to 20 studies that show that there is definitely some effectiveness to acupuncture in treating them. And, it's like, for me as a physician, I'm like, okay, how exactly does that work? And, I don't have a great answer outside of, I definitely think that there is like, some placebo effect to it. I mean, that's well documented that there is. Also, too, I kind of feel like acupuncture might almost be akin to something like meditation. There's definitely some research out there that shows that people who, meditate or focus on something will see an improvement in whatever it is that they're, focusing about. So I think that there's some of that. As far as like the medical and affecting, chi or life force, I mean, that's a stretch for me. I mean, it's hard for me to embrace that.
Yeah.
But
I think that it sounds like it's something that you should try if you have some of those issues that are
right. Acupuncture. I think that if you're interested in it, talk to your doctor. The only thing I'd say about talking to your doctor, I'm sure there's some doctors out there who would probably just say, "Oh, that's total nonsense. It's not going to help you." I mean, the research suggests otherwise. But I would definitely say that I would be hesitant to tell you to go into acupuncture thinking it's going to solve all your ills. If you go in thinking this might help me, I think there's a chance that you could find some benefit from it, but it's definitely not a cure-all. So.